Hi everyone, how's it going? Just come back from London. I spent about like a week and a bit over there. I went down to London the Friday before last, and I've just come back today. It is now Monday the 12th. So I had to bury my grandfather on Lionsgate. Truth be told, I think my granddad would have been pleased with the send off. It's pretty fucking lit. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, you know, it wasn't just sadness. Like, you felt all kinds of emotions, like going through that ceremony. And I don't want to go into too much detail, but my thing is that if you can feel every single emotion in one event, then that's how you know it's a good event. But for me, unlike with my mother, like when the grief hit really quite quickly. I mean, it was as soon as I left her body, because I knew that was the last time I was going to see her. So when it came to my mum, the grief hit fucking quick. It was like the grief just really, really hit me. But with my grandfather, it was weird because the week before was the celebration of his birthday. And I had a little cry to myself beforehand, because seeing my granddad, how sick he was, it was bad, but it was a combination of him and seeing how heartbroken so many other people were to see him like that. It just had an effect on me. And then the next week he died, and my first instinct was to take care of everyone else, because I didn't know him that well. I knew how loved he was, how treasured he was. It wasn't until I said goodbye to him, like in private, that it really kind of hit me. And from there, the grief was palpable. And as the grief came out, so did all my emotions with regards to this gang stalking program. And I realized, like every so often, when you're a targeted individual going through normal human experiences on top of everything that you're going through, there are times where it really hits you how much you go through. And being a TI is the realization that there is currency in your misery. There is currency in your misery, and there is currency in breaking your spirit. And when you try to tell people this, they won't acknowledge it. And they will never admit it to themselves. But the reason why they won't acknowledge what you're going through is because, honestly, they don't care. They don't care. People, nothing will test how much love you have for a person like being a targeted individual. Nothing will test somebody's love for you like being a TI. Because not only does a person have to deal with your trauma responses and, all the defensive behavior or the neediness or the codependency that might come with that, not only does the person have to deal with you and your moods and the torture that you go through physically, the torture that you're subjected to physically, not only do they have to deal with your moods and the fucking pain that you go through, they also have to deal with the fact that they might become a target themselves and go through the same pain and the same torture while supporting you. So under the circumstances, it's very easy for people who are non-TIs, who are not perps, but who are non-TIs, to be in a TI's life and either not want to believe what the TI is saying or to just not fight the TI's cause. Because they know that even though they probably would be able to handle that, they don't want to handle that. So it really reveals to you how much people love you. When you're a targeted individual, it tests love. It tests love. It tests how much somebody truly cares for you. It tests that. Do you understand? And when you're a targeted individual, you realize very few people who are non-T.I.s have the type of love that's death-defying. Who have the type of love that will, you know, weather any storm with you. Fuck being around people who claim to love you but don't believe you. Like, fuck all that. Do the people who love you truly believe you? Do they truly have your back? If the answer to that is no, then they don't truly love you as much as they think, because love isn't just a feeling, it's an action. Love isn't a feeling, it's an action. And the truth of the matter is, people love the bad people of the world more than the good people of the world. I know this from my own fucking life. I got a lot more love when I was a miscreant and when I was acting up, and I got a lot more love then than I do now that I'm trying to do the right thing. People love bad people. They love people who help themselves. They love people who, you know, they love people who take and act like they give. They're not going to love T.I.s. It takes a strong, powerful, incredible, fucking superhuman human being to love a T.I., even somebody like me, who is on the lowest end of the spectrum in this country. And over the course of the last week, I realized that I have people who love me, but I don't have people who love me like that. Do you understand what I mean? I don't have that. If I had people who love me, they'd be fighting for me. They'd be fighting for me. They'd be fighting with me, especially given what I know about gang stalking. They'd be fighting with me. I wouldn't have to be splitting hairs and trying to force my fucking reality down anybody's throat. Like, if people were really have my back, they'd have my back, but they don't. They just don't. They simply don't. And I realized that, you know, as unlikable as I can be sometimes, and I can be very unlikable, without the T.I. stuff, I would still have people who loved me. I would still have people who loved me. But as a T.I., finding that love it's not impossible, but it's just very unlikely. Because it takes a superhuman love to love somebody that beaten down and that tortured. It takes love. And especially somebody who's going to be tortured for the rest of their lives, and you know it's never going to quit. It takes a special kind of love to love someone like that. It takes a superhuman love to love somebody like that in the way they deserve. One of the rules of power is to avoid the unhappy and avoid the unlucky. T.I.s are not unlucky, but we are very, very unhappy because we're tortured all the time. So it takes a superhuman type of love to be there with us, not only in our flaws as human beings, but in our flaws as T.I.s, and in our torture, because this shit doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. If anything, the older you get, it gets fucking worse. There are plenty of elder T.I.s, you wouldn't believe the shit that they go through. Like, the younger you are, the easier the torture is, the more they go easy on you. When you get older and the psychological effects of the torture no longer affect you that much, that's when the physical shit starts. Being young is a picnic when you're a T.I., but when you get older, oh my God. And try finding that type of strong, powerful, superhuman love then. Being older is hard enough when you're not a T.I. When you are a T.I., my God. When you are a TI, it's something else, boy. It's something else. And being a TI, you realize you're not really loved like that. And, you know, a lot of people say that they love me. I'm sure that there are people who are fond of me. I'm sure there are people who care about me even. I wholeheartedly believe that there are people in my life who care about me, and there are people in my life who are genuinely fond of me. I get that. I understand that. I understand there are people who have grown fond of me, who like me even. Like, I get there are some people who even like me. Do you understand what I mean? But love is a whole different story. If anybody truly loved me, they'd be fighting with me. And the realization of that is what made me walk away from London with a heavy heart. It's that realization that nobody really loves you when you're a TI. When you're black, you can be loved. When you're a woman, you can be loved. When you're queer, you can be loved. When you're neurospicy, you can be loved. No marginalization on the entire planet can stop you from having that love that you're supposed to have. No marginalization in the world but being a TI. When you're a TI, you are not loved. Let's be very clear. Unless you've got somebody who's going through the wars with you and who is willing to go through not only taking care of you, but willing to go through what you go through, put themselves on the fucking line to be with you or to stand by your side. I guarantee you they don't love you like that. And the perps are loved because they're willing to traffic somebody and murder somebody to keep one another's secrets. What the perps have are love, because again, love is an action. It's not just a feeling. When they traffic someone and they kill someone and they murder someone slowly, they're covering each other's backs all the time. And honestly, that should worry them. Because as ruthless as they are and as nasty as they are, there's always someone more ruthless, more nasty, and more loved or feared than they are coming up behind them. So honestly, that should worry them. It should worry them. It shouldn't fill them with any kind of comfort. It should actually worry them. It's quite bad. You know. But yeah, it's a realization as a TI, you are not loved at all. You know. Except for those select few who are able to find those willing to go through the wars with them. But you're not loved as a TI. Again, it's not just a feeling, it's an action. So, walking away with that realization, again, heavy heart when I left London. Got better when I came to Brighton though. Like, my mood kind of brightened when I came back. Even though, like, I kind of burned a lot of bridges over here and I kind of isolated myself again, I still felt really good about being here. Like, which is odd, but, you know, it is what it is. But, yeah. My life is going to change drastically. First off, what I want to tell you guys is that there's an annual mental health check now. And I thought it was bullshit because it's like, well, you know, why is this the only first time I'm hearing of it? Turns out that the annual monthly mental health check or physical health check started in 2023. Now I'm thinking to myself, if it's an annual mental health check, why didn't I hear about it the first time it came out? Why is it only 2024 that I'm just hearing about it? You know what I mean? And just when I happen to reach Brighton. I'm very suspicious about that. Especially seeing as I've contacted the mediation services again about setting up the appointment. Apparently I'm in a waiting list, and in the next couple of weeks somebody's going to call me about the mediation with regards to this property. Truth be told, with all the far right shit going on, even though Brighton fucking stood up and let everybody know who's boss, because boy, Brighton fucking stood up and just said, absolutely not, you get the fuck up out of here. Show the far right who's boss, man. I'm here for that shit. But like, you know, now that the far right is on the rise, and let's be clear, just because they ran home with their tails in between their legs, it doesn't mean they won't come back around for another cycle, and the next cycle will be worse. Think about how bad things were already the last go round. You had at least one brown man that was stabbed in the UK, and at least 3 black men that were assaulted. And those are just the ones I know about. Those are just the ones I know about. There was another in, I can't remember where it was, but there was another incident where a brown man in a BMW was driving. He was driving, and there were these far right people surrounding his car, and one of them opened the car door and started stabbing the driver. So, again, let's think about the last go round of the far right. When they come back round for the other cycle, it's going to be far worse, and we need to be prepared. So for me, given that my neighbours are racist, and, you know, given that the mediation services are getting in contact with me in a couple of weeks, this came right on time. But also, we've got to think about the fact that a lot of homeless people are being sectioned now. So that's why I'm kind of suspicious about what's going on with the, you know, the annual mental health check. Because it's supposed to have been from 2023 or something. You know, but why am I first hearing about it now? Like, it just made me a little bit suspicious. So it could genuinely be an admin thing. Like, it doesn't always have to be gang stalking, but like, it's just, yeah, it's just a little bit. And then given what I know about RFID chips and, you know, the fact that a lot of medications are supposedly chipped now, it just makes me very suspicious, man. It just makes me very suspicious. But we'll see what happens. So there's that whole thing going on. So it's like, yeah, the mediation service, psychoanalysis and stuff, me burning bridges here in Brighton, intentionally doing it because, like, I just, yeah. When you're an ADHD person, when you're dealing with a gaggle of mental health issues, and on top of that, you're being tortured to death and having everybody blame your mental health issues on that shit, there's only so much you can take before you just say, fuck it. I'm just gonna start over. Fuck it. Do you understand what I mean? So, so yeah, I do believe that there's some kind of, you know, right now at the time where I've just buried my grandfather, now you're going to come with an annual health check. And then on top of that, the mediation services, they were probably hoping that I would forget about it and just let it blow over. If there's anything that I've learned about gang stalking, you don't let a single fucking thing blow over, because they don't let anything blow over. They don't. They're not even letting your case in general blow over. This is for the rest of your life. So if they're not gonna let shit blow over, as a TI, you got to learn, do not let up with a goddamn thing that they fucking do. Don't let up. Because they're gonna be on your ass for the rest of your life. Don't fucking let up, ever. So, you know, I've got that to deal with, the mediation services. Then it's the mental health thing, mental health check. Again, it doesn't have to be gang stalking. It could just be a normal thing that happens to a lot of people who are supposedly severely mentally ill. Remember, I've been diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, even though I don't fucking have it. So you've got to consider that. And yeah, so it's like, so I've got that to deal with. Then the mediation services, then my burning bridges with the community in Brighton, the black and queer community in Brighton, specifically because I got tired of trying to hide the fact that there were people within my community that were actually gang stalking me. I got tired of the mind games, and I got tired of hiding that shit. And the thing that I want to really stress upon everyone is that when it comes to these race wars and these political wars, it's not human being versus human being, it's perp versus perp. You have got perps within the far right. Case in point, you've got perps within the far right, and you have got perps within the left and anti-fascist organizations as well. So you've got perps among the fascists, and you've got perps among left-leaning people, and it's all tied to the military. It's all tied to private security firms, private intelligence firms, and civil intelligence firms. There's frequency weaponry involved. There's fucking semiotics, the use of semiotics involved. I'm going to discuss that all on my Empress Justice Daily page as well, because I'm taking a break from tarot to figure out my life. But in the meantime, if I have an idea for a video that is related to anything to do with frequencies in particular, I'm going to be putting them on my Empress Justice Daily page to keep it ticking over until I can find the strength to actually do readings again, because I've promised to take a break until November, which is a long ass break, but I need it to reevaluate my life and to reevaluate exactly where I want to take Empress Justice Tarot, if I'm going to take it anywhere. And on top of that, I'm taking a break from Black Brighton Market. In fact, I'm not going to do another store with them again. And it's nothing against the organizers in particular, because they're not the issue. It's the politics around it that I have a problem with, and how those politics are compounding upon a situation in which I'm being trafficked and tortured to death. I ain't here for that shit. Okay? So I'm taking a break from online tarot readings and stall tarot readings until I can get myself together and figure out where I want to go from here. And also, there's the living situation to think about, because the gangster, for fuck's sake, I can't even talk about the gang stalkers anymore, like they're fucking threats. The gang stalkers are threatening to move me. They don't learn, I swear to God, they just don't learn. They do not learn for the life of them. I just cannot right now. They just haven't learned. They've sectioned me. They've moved me. They've made me homeless. There are so many things that they've done, and it hasn't changed a fucking thing about me being right about the mess they've made. Because that's what they're looking for. They're thinking that if they can get me scared, then suddenly, everything that I've been saying won't be true. And it's just like, it's a little bit late in the day for all that. And, when it comes to the fucking gang stalking, what else was the gang stalking for? You're not about to tell me it's supposed to bring peace. Bro, come on. Come on. Oh my God. Sorry. Went into a whole other train of thought. But yeah, the gang stalkers have been threatening to move me. And truth be told, I'm not exactly hype about leaving Brighton, because I do love Brighton. But I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really mind. Because I know wherever they move me to, if they want to section me, if they don't want to section me, It's not going to change anything. It's not going to change anything. The only thing that ever changes every single time I move is that I'm not around to see how stupid the perps look when they realize that I was right. That's the only thing that changes. Doesn't change anything. It really doesn't. It really doesn't change anything. So when it comes to moving, I might be moving, I might not be moving, but hey, it doesn't matter. I've burned bridges anyway. So, you know, I'm halfway ready to move, if it comes to it. I'm halfway ready to move anyway. I've burned bridges. Fuck it. I'm halfway ready to move if it ever comes to that. You know, but if I'm not being moved away, then there's opportunities there as well, because there are so many other things that I can do other than the same store. And truth be told, like, I can't be ungrateful when it comes to the community in Brighton. I cannot be ungrateful. They have really fucking helped me. Like, it, you know, in spite of the fact that there have been at least one person who's been a gang stalker in that community, truth be told, the rest of them who are definitely not gang stalkers, they've helped me a fucking lot. They've helped me an awful lot. I can't sit here and say that they haven't helped me. I can't sit here and say that they haven't helped me. I can't sit here and say that they haven't provided me with opportunity after opportunity. I cannot sit here and say that. But when you're a targeted individual and that permeates your life, sooner or later, there's going to be the mind games. There's going to be the attempts to sabotage you. There's going to be subtle blacklisting, shadow banning. Cut it dead. I should have done that months ago. Cut it dead. You know what I mean? So I'm halfway ready to move if it comes to it. I've already burned the bridges that I need to burn. If it comes to it, if they move me again, you know, I'm at least halfway ready. Like, maybe financially I'm not ready like that. But I wasn't financially ready the last time. So, you know, if it comes down to it, I'm halfway ready. You know, if I stay, I don't mind. I really don't mind if I stay. I love Brighton. I'm always going to love Brighton. I don't mind if I stay. If they move me, I don't mind if they move me. Because at the end of the day, it's not going to change everything that I said was going to happen. It's not going to change anything. So they can move me, they can keep me. It doesn't matter. Does not matter. Does not matter. So I'm okay with that. They've been threatening to move me. Oh yeah, and when I posted that video on Empress Justice Daily talking more about the upcoming videos that I'm going to make on that channel with regards to revelations about my mom and about like the community in Brighton, a gang stalker from London, and I know who that gang stalker is, tried to pose as a YouTuber saying, oh, you're on the wrong path, sweetie. It's demonic, baby. My tarot readings are the least of your motherfucking problems. The same people that you're calling demonic, the same performers that you're calling demonic are most likely taking military contracts, taking up military contracts to use frequency weapons to affect life around you as you know it. The same people you're working for are the ones using black magic and demonic magic on top of the electronic warfare. You got bigger things to worry about. What I'm doing over here with my tarot readings, that's child's play. It is literally playing with cards. I used to take the tarot thing seriously, but I'm thinking, if you're over here literally trafficking people and torturing people for sport and assisting in the downfall of every single community that you're a part of, then really, like, my tarot readings are the least of your worries. Whatever demons I'm inviting, they're not bad enough for me to traffic a person to death or to torture a person to death. You need to worry about the demons you got over there. Whatever demons I got over here, it's not bad enough for me to stab somebody over their race, for me to assault somebody over their race, for me to basically obsess over somebody just because they're a different skin color to me and try to make their lives hell. Whatever demons I've got going on over here, that's the least of your problems, baby. And the gang stalker from London, I happen to know that they're black. Baby, you got bigger things to worry about, because the same people you're working for are the same people responsible for the far right rising up all over the country. You got bigger problems, baby. I would stay in your lane. And just like the white person who came on my YouTube channel talking about, oh, you need to get a job. Baby, my employment is the least of your problems. A whole bunch of fucking racist ass white people voted for reform. Reform is supposed to be an Islamophobic organization. You've got a Muslim millionaire as CEO. Like, you've got bigger fucking problems. And on top of that, your sacred leader, Stephen Yaxley Lennon, fucked off to Cyprus while you held the fort. You got bigger problems to worry about. Way bigger. You know what I mean? That's exactly what I'm talking about when I say the perps can't come up with anything new. What are you worried about me for? And what team has I got going over here? What are you worried about? This is why as a perp, you really need to mind your business. Because if you'd have minded your business, you'd have seen that you'd been used as pawns. And that it's going to get worse. And that there are going to be pawns rounded up in the same internment camps that our T.I. asses are going to end up in. There are several of you perps that have already been killed by the same people that hired you. You need to keep your eyes on your own. Clear up the shit in your own backyard, Sherlock. That's what you need to do. That's what you need to do, rather than trying to figure out, oh, how can we get her upset? Oh, what's the sick? Cut it out, baby, cut it out. You got bigger problems. And like I said, move me, section me. It's not going to change anything. Because the shit that you set in motion, no amount of sectioning of me, no amount of shutting me up is going to change any of that shit. And when you see everything unfold, my voice is going to be ringing in your head for the rest of your life. Save a fucking lobotomy. You get that lobotomy. You getting that lobotomy. Save you getting a lobotomy. That voice of mine that told you everything that was going to drop whilst you were doing that perp shit, that's going to be ringing in your fucking head for the rest of your life. Regardless of what happens to me. So, this is the thing. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a video on... The first video I'm going to make is on Empress Justice Daily about Taylor Swift and everything surrounding that. And also the connection to Ryan Reynolds and how that ties in with frequency, you know, frequency weaponry and how it's being used. And the connections, the Easter eggs that these private intelligence services and these fucking civil security services have put there for us to see but not to understand. So it's like, I will talk about that on Empress Justice Daily. I will tell you everything that I know. It's mostly speculative, so don't take it as Well, try not to take it as fact, but the truth of the matter is that I'm most likely right anyway. I usually am. So I'm going to talk about that on Empress Justice Daily, maybe tomorrow or Wednesday. I'm not sure. I'd have to see what's going on tomorrow, because there's a lot going on tomorrow. And there's also, I've got to talk about my mum, Suzanne Summers, because like they studied similar things. And I believe that's partially the reason why my mother is dead right now, because I believe she was murdered. I've said it before, but the main thing is why she was murdered. That's something that has to be like dissected and talked about. And also, I wanted to talk about Black Brighton Market, Black Brighton, and my experiences with the community. And I also want to stress that when I talk about these entities, I am not talking about everyone in them. The vast majority of people within Black Brighton Market and within the Black community in Brighton are not gang stalkers. The majority of them are not gang stalkers, but they will be involved once word gets around about my videos. They will be involved. They will be in the mix. It's just that they will hear half-truths from those who are actually hired to try to get under my skin and to try to engage in psychological warfare and subtly blacklist and shadow ban me. They will have those people in their ears, so they will be involved. But I do want to stress that it's not the whole of Black Brighton, and it's not the whole of Black Brighton Market. Most of those people have been extremely helpful to me. Most of those people have been extremely courteous to me. But now that I've actually revealed that there are some people within their ranks that are gang stalkers, now the situation's going to change. It is what it is. It's nothing personal on their part. It's nothing personal on mine. It just is what it is. I've got to prioritize surviving for as long as possible to get the word out about gang stalking as much as possible, whilst I still can, whilst I still have the mental faculties, and whilst I still have my life. These things are important to talk about. They're more important than any tarot readings. As much as I love reading the tarot, these things are more important than any tarot. They are more important than any occult. They are more important than all the things that I love to do, all the things that I love to study, that I love to fill my life with. The truth is more important than any of that shit. Because knowing about it, if people would have listened to the Mother of Dragons reading, it could have saved fucking lives, literally. If people had listened, but they didn't. They didn't. There was prime material right there to be able to prepare yourself for the incoming impact, and nobody listened. That's a problem. That's a problem. That has to come first. The potentially saving the lives of not us hardback adults, but saving the lives of innocent children who are not perps, and rescuing T.I. children from their predicaments. Those things are going to be way more important than any fucking tarot. I'm sorry. Way more important. And I love fucking tarot. I love it. But there are certain things that are more important than even what I love to do. The truth has to count for something. I'm willing to put my fucking life and my mind behind that shit. And these people stay trying to call my bluff on it, but like they just don't learn. You know what I mean? So, I will see you in the next video on Empress Justice Daily. If you haven't gotten over there, get over there right now. Okay? Lots of tea being spilled on there. Okay? I might do like a tarot reading if I feel like it, but the way things are looking, it's going to be very sporadic until November. Like I said, I'm taking a break from online services. But I'm still doing private services for anybody who's interested. I'm still doing those. I'm just taking a break from online content and doing stores. And that's it. Yeah. My website is still active if you want to get on there now. It's been updated. I always update my site. Even though I don't have the domain name yet, I always update it. And yeah, that about sums it up. Peace and blessings. I love you guys so much. Bye bye, my darlings.